we need to get into this chat because, oh man.
First off, oh my God. Look,
Derpy and Xavier. Oh, wait, Derpy, hopefully you're still here, man. So, it started off with, if you hate Andor, you're a casual fan of Star Wars. Which already...
it's like you're trying to trigger me.
You're trying to make people mad. He goes, you think the sequels are good? Like, what?
Yo, I've killed men for less.
Oh man, no, the sequels. You know what? I do like The Force Awakens. I watch it again. I thought exactly. it was a good start.
It was a good start, and they had the right way to do it. And they started listening to everybody else having all their hate, and that's what got.
I was like, oh, it's just repeating A New Hope. I was like, a little bit, but then which is not a bad thing because history repeats itself. Blah blah blah. But then it could have led into a whole new story.
Their story, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which they're going to end up doing now anyway. With Ray.
yeah, I know. They're
going to do it anyway.
So I grew up Star Wars and still don't like Andor. Yeah. Oh man, I lived and breathed Star Wars for a long time. Not just that,
watched all the Clone Wars, watched all the in between. Tank has read all the books. I've read a couple. He's read all the books in between. He knows all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say I don't know.
No, because I think my sister's boyfriend has it. I have a big old massive freaking medical book looking thickness, and it has 3 stories in there of everything, and they're so good. But where are you? So Horgy says, I like Andor. If you like it, I'm not gonna knock you and say like you're silly for liking it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. It's not Star Wars to me. I think because I always say it's not about you have to have the Force or you have to have the Skywalker, but you have to know what Star Wars really is. You don't have to have I don't have to have lightsabers. I do need the Force. That is what it is. That's what Star Wars really started off as. I mean, the more you know, it's always an underlining thing that's there. It doesn't have to be apparent, but it has to be there somewhere. And I feel like that you lose what Star Wars is when you forget that. And it's almost you try to outthink yourself.
Yeah. We'll get into something that kind of talks about what you just said in a minute because I saw other comments. Then he asked, "What's your favorite Star Wars?" To Xavier, he said, "Return of the Jedi."
Return of the Jedi is the best.
Return of the Jedi was a lot of fun. I mean, but Empire.
No, it's the second best. Empire Strikes Back is the best. I'm sorry. Empire Strikes Back is the best. Return of the Jedi is very good.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi is probably my second favorite. I understand how you feel about, but Empire is the best one. Either one I can really go for. But Empire with the way it ends, the big reveal, back then, as a kid, there's still kids like on TikTok that I watch where like the dad's recording the girl and he says it and she's like, no. What? No, like, it's like just blew her little mind, it's like, because she doesn't know all the tropes and the jokes and the memes of that yet, so seeing it with young eyes and all that, I was like, oh, I can't wait to show Lucas that. I was like, I can't wait. I'm like, your whole life depends how you're going to react to this.
We'll know if you're my son now.
Exactly. The writing of the tone for Empire. Yeah. Return of the Jedi was Nerf for kids. No,
it was not. No. It was still very good. I mean, the stuff. I mean, all the memes we got from it too. I mean, come on, Return of the Jedi was very good.
I think Return of the Jedi. You knew the good guys were gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
You always knew the good guys
because you know what the story is.
Yeah, and if you know now that you know George Lucas, you kind of know like, oh yeah, like that's gonna be how it goes. But I don't think it was nerfed for little kids, like the good guys won. I think he got a redemption arc for his father, stuff like that. So yeah, not for me, just it's different. I enjoy Empire, but Jedi is my favorite. Like I said, those two are my 2 favorite because those 2 are more connected than the first one. The first one was cool, A New Hope, but Empire and Jedi is kind of like a part 1, part 2 kind of thing, where like that is a legit continuation, the story.
It could be one long movie. That's what those two could be one long movie. But Return of the Jedi, I think it still was just
it's
so
great.
good.
It's great because then at the end, the good guys win, but you still don't know. Like, yeah, you win, but there's still an army out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And and Luke is a badass by then, and yeah.
A lot of people like Empire Strikes Back
more than
even Return of the Jedi or Return.
Yeah. I like Empire more than Jedi, but Jedi was fun. It's a good ending, I think. But yeah, so D Stizzle said, been a Star Wars fan since ESB, Empire Strikes Back. Don't need Jedi versus Sith in every story, but Andor is missing something of that classic Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers swashbuckling flavor that inspired the original trilogy. Yes.
That's the Force.
Yes.
That's literally the Force. It doesn't have to. I agree. It doesn't have to be Jedi versus Sith, but you need the Force, the feeling of the Force, still Force sensitivity. I mean, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah. You're, and I mean, it's not swashbuckling as in like, oh, there has to be a sword fight. But swashbuckling, I get what you're saying. Like there's a certain vibe of like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, man. But it is very like Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. Nick, if you've ever seen Flash Gordon, Flash Gordon is awesome. Queen sings the song, talking about songs again, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like you said, it's just missing something of that classic Lucas vibe that he always put in, whether it be like, oh, this was like a comparison to like whatever war was going on, or this was like a samurai film that I love that I kind of took inspiration from. Dune, it's like, Dune was this political space, thing, like stuff space that he took from, space opera. So it was even missing that, and that was the part of the closest it could have been, was like, let's make this a space opera, and it really wasn't, and like you could have been away from the samurai-ish, even the swashbuckling-ish, and still became a space opera, but it even missed that, which
there's just so much. I mean, they just lost me. So
yeah. I mean, well, I'll see about season. I'm not gonna not watch season 2. I'll watch it and see what it does, and it would need to do a lot to save season 1. A lot.
I think I hope that if it the closer it gets to what's the movie
Rogue One.
Rogue One. The closer it gets to Rogue One, the better off I think this series is going to get.
Yeah, true.
And it's going to be right there. It's going to be literally right before Rogue One happens. So it's going. I mean, it's going to be better.
Yeah, it's going to lead up right to it. And Deborah said, Andor is literally what fans have before Disney bought Star Wars. I don't understand why there's hate for the show. It's literally a story from a new character and new perspective, which
nothing
fans wanted.
Happened.
That was the issue. Nothing happened. Nothing was really like. Yeah, because the whole time, even at the end, he was a reluctant hero. It was like, because in Rogue One, he's not so reluctant. Like, he's ready to fight the good fight. So now we're gonna get like what? How many more episodes of him doing that? Like, what, 8 maybe?
Yeah, another 8 probably. I think he'll get another.
So it was like, that's still a lot. Like, he needs to become the guy who is not selfish. And you wasted a whole season of him not doing that.
Even if he has a character arc that takes a little time, let something happen.
Yeah,
let's have something. Even if you're not developing the characters, let something happen. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, like the last episode was one of the better ones, but it was the last episode of the season. By then, people stopped caring.
Yeah, people were checked out.
Episode was, I think, episode 2 or 3. When they were
3 or 4, was it? Whatever it was.
Train heist.
Yeah, that heist. The heist was good. Mm-hmm.
I forgot what episode that one. That was probably the best, and then nothing until the end. So. And this D Stizzle said, Derpy, I personally don't hate the show. It was a decent show. I definitely don't think it is greatest thing since sliced bread. Others are saying it is. Yeah. John Campia thinks it's like the greatest freaking thing ever. I was like,
that's where I mean, John Campia, like come on,
you're like, slow down. Yeah, it's so overhyped, it's unreal, but kudos if you love it. Yeah. And then Brandon comes in here. He's like, I like She-Hulk. She-Hulk was awesome. Like, no, man, no, it was not.
I thought the ending was good, but there's too much filler. Like it was more filler than things that actually happened.
Yeah. Back on Star Wars. So D Sizzle said Rogue One has that swashbuckling flavor, and it's the best Disney era Star Wars film in my opinion. I have to agree, man.
I agree too.
Like, I really like Rogue One because it didn't matter about the characters as much as the story it was trying to tell. So it was like, and I saw, and then it carried something, because even though
you already know everyone's dies.
You still hold on to that hope, and I'm like, that's what's a good story where
I didn't hold on to the hope. I just wanted to see the story. I knew. Yeah, I was like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and you're dead. But it's okay. I still want to see how we get there.
Yeah,
and it was so well done.
It was so and then throwing that little Vader scene at the end was just the cherry on top. But yeah. Rogue One was definitely the best Disney one so far. I'll put Force Awakens up there too, but Rogue One's number one.
Yeah, but you know what? This is why I have hope for it. I feel like eventually Andor 2 could be good because it's going to start getting to that Rogue One storyline. So things are actually going to happen. You're going to people are going to have to choose sides. You're going to have to actually have good versus evil. So, I mean, if all those are possible, I mean, this would be good. I mean, it could be good. Yeah. But I agree, I thought episode 7 was good. So, yeah.
It was like I said, it was a good start. That's also what crazy because I also loved Rogue One and went into Andor expecting to love it. Yeah, I think that's what it pulled him.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, cool. We're getting Diego Luna. Love him. I love his character. It's gonna be a prequel to Rogue One. Sign me up. And then it just, yeah. So here's the one that really got me for D Sizzle said the Andor showrunners aren't even Star Wars fans. Yeah, they're just good filmmakers. Good show in the vacuum, but it doesn't feel enough.
It's not Star Wars. I didn't I say that every week. Every week I said this is not Star Wars. It's not that it's not bad. I mean, the stuff is just it's not Star Wars. It's never felt like Star Wars. Any episode that I watched.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the one that felt the most was the heist at the end of the heist, where they're flying against the TIE fighters and stuff like that. Where because you were in a ship and you're like, oh yeah, back to that feeling of like the getaway, like you did with the Millennium Falcon and stuff. But that was 10 minutes. 10 minutes of the show.
And then that star scene, what was it? That was at 6 or 9. I think that was episode 9. I think it was. They had parts that were good, but like literally, you could have all those parts in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, but that's the problem. I think when that came out, and Marvel's having the same issue too. When people are saying, "We don't want you to know the story." We don't want you to be a Star Wars fan. We don't want you to be a Marvel fan. We want new, fresh takes. Which that part's fine. New, fresh takes is fine. But not respecting the characters and the story and the universe and the franchise, that becomes the problem, And I feel like Andor was set up to be something good, and then no one writing watched Star Wars.
Tried to outthink itself. That's always why I feel like it had a great idea and just tried to outthink itself instead of just going with it.
Yeah. So that's the sad part. That's why I like Filoni. Filoni was trained by George Lucas pretty much. He's like, the son he never had, which, literally made that man cry on stage, like when Bryce Dallas Howard told him that, like he, that's still one of my favorite, like clips ever, that dude
Bryce Dallas almost Howard.
Yeah. And then he says, wasn't trying to turn this into a long Andor debate.
But it was a good one. I was sitting there reading the whole time. It was very good.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to talk about Secret Invasion. Yeah. But no comment on the ST. What were you talking about? That
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek's fun.
I
Wait,
love
who
Star
said?
Trek.
Was it Brandon Davis? Did he say it
Yeah,
yet?
he said
I
I'm
might have
more of a.
missed it. Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. I'm not gonna lie. I've been more of a Star Trek guy, which is fine.
I like both.
Yeah. Always like Trek too. I've always been more like into more Star Wars. My grandfather was into both. Oh, I didn't even notice. You can't even see my ring, and I'm fiddling with it. It looks weird on the green screen. It's a Green Lantern ring. I don't know if anybody.
No one can tell.
I know, and I'm like fiddling with it. I'm like, it looks stupid on screen.
The Next Generation was my favorite thing. Like I've watched all the episodes like 45 times.
Yeah. I think that was the one that probably brought a lot of OG fans back in, new fans in. Yeah, that was it. So he said, Empire Strikes Back favorite from the original trilogy. Return of the what is it? Rise of the
Sith. Rise.
No, that's prequel. Yeah, so Return of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those. I didn't like the prequels, but that was probably the best of the prequels for sure.
Was that my favorite prequel?
Phantom Menace sucked. Besides the fight scene.
Yeah.
Clone Wars super sucked. Even with the fight scene. You know, and then Revenge of the Sith was
that's the
good.
Only one. That's the only one. Yeah.
You know, because it sets up Vader. That's when you actually see Vader become Vader. Or Anakin become Vader.
You would have chose that one. Yeah, I got the high ground. Don't try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is the one I like. That's fine.
Yeah, that's the best one out of all three. I feel my Jedi, though. Jedi was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. Oh, you went backwards. Okay. Yeah, Jedi's cool. I mean, my second favorite. So yeah, and Hoagie Empire is my favorite.
That's a good one. It's a good one to be.
Yeah, it's so like Empire is so good because like I think not a lot of films did what they did, where they're like another one's coming. I think at the time they already announced there's gonna be a trilogy, and then the middle one ends on a bad note, and you're just like, wait, the good guys lost?
Yeah,
what's going on? It's like plus the big I am your father thing. Yeah, man.
No one saw it. No one knew, and they kept it under wraps the right way. That was so cool.
Yeah, you were able to do that back then, not anymore.
Yeah.
Andor needs more legacy characters in season 2. Yes. Bail Organa, Tarkin. Oh my god, Tarkin. That'd be cool. I'm not expecting Vader, but maybe a few Empire scenes where he's getting ready to dissolve the Imperial State.
The Emperor State, yeah.
Or Imperial Senate. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing the Emperor coming in and is like, and you're all fired.
Yep. You're no longer needed. I don't need any of you guys.
Yeah. Because isn't that what they start to show in that show, right? Where there's only a few people left and all the empty chairs, all the empty chairs, which I'm like, so it has things that they could really do well with, and I feel like because the people making the show don't know Star Wars, you missed out on stuff like that. You're like, oh, this could be cool, and you're just like, oh, and just blew past it.
Yep, exactly what happened, over and over again, and over. The connecting tissue just was not there.
Yeah. That's my hope for Andor season 2. Please get closer to the Rogue One story, which I think they will. Hopefully. So for Andor characters like Luthen, Mon Mothma, Bix, Kalen, Cassian isn't a good protagonist in the show so far.
That's all.
He could be, but he could be.
He has to change who he is.
Yeah. And that should have happened already. That should have happened by the end of the season. We should have seen him be more selfless.
1,000 episodes, an hour long, and nothing changes this dude. I'm like, come on, bro. Yeah. You've been to prison and out. You broke out of prison. You still the same dude? Come on, man.
Yeah. Like that was a really cool episode, I thought. Like the whole prison thing, him breaking out and stuff like that.
And then it didn't matter.
And then it does nothing after that. Cassian did a lot of dumb stuff in that show. Oh, so much. Because the whole time he was being selfish. I was like, he needed to learn to be the hero.
And he still hasn't.
He hasn't. We're going into the next season, and he hasn't learned how to be the person he is in the movie.